Hello and welcome to another episode of Matty Allen Live. I'm your host, Matty Allen. I'm so excited that you're here for this show because I think that the three stories I'm going to present today are going to change the way you look at the world. The stories today, they're going to change how you think about Facebook. It's going to change how you think about money and about Bitcoin. And so our top stories today are having to do with how Bitcoin's lead dev quit. Now, this is not a new story, but it's a new take. And then our highlight story today has to do with how Facebook is releasing Facebook coin imminently. So what does this mean for crypto? What does this mean for Bitcoin? Stay tuned and find out here. And we're also going to cover Hex, and that'll be our third story. So here we're going to do the long intro to set the mood and answer some of the questions that I know you already have about Hex and Bitcoin. Welcome back. I hope you're excited to get started with this episode. And Crypto Learner, username Crypto Learner, is super curious about what we're going to learn today. Well, that's right, because thousands of people joined in yesterday for my talk on what the next airdrop is going to be. And you better believe it, I am keeping my word. So I want to shout out to everybody who saw the show yesterday. And I promised you that I would give you any updates I get. As a part of the Hex community, we have all been getting thousands of dollars of free money in airdrops just for using certain exchanges. So I want to bring up on the screen here some more information that the Hex community shared with me about potential airdrops, again, because I promised to do so. And so here, Shadowy Hex Brilliance is the username of Brennan, who's been a longtime OG member of Hex. And Brennan posted this on Twitter and said, in order of imminence or value or likelihood of occurring, according to his feeling, that the following coins could have an airdrop. Now, see my last two episodes about airdrops to find out all the warnings, and follow me on Twitter to see really what's going on with how people are evaluating this, because we have a lot of people in Hex who are super smart, and they're all pitching in their knowledge to help us understand how to possibly get free money. So Brennan is thinking MetaMask, Xerion, Paraswap, Matcha, Zapper, and then some others. And the simple strategy is to create a new seed for MetaMask on a mobile device import into desktop MetaMask extension, do a chain of swaps beginning from MetaMask to Zapper. So 5 swaps at different places on each seed, and repeat. Do one transaction if you feel like the others in the list above in the screenshot will allow that. And hashtag airdrop instructions for reference. What is the probability that none of them do an airdrop? So Brendan goes in and discusses kind of what the different possibilities are, and is thinking that imagine if 1,000 coordinated hexagons who are all airdrop hunters are making $100,000 each on all these airdrops, then that could be $100 million going into Hex, and the price would skyrocket to dollars. So here, Brennan has shared all the links to exactly what the websites are. Now, I haven't tried all these. I've spent most of my time making MetaMask wallets. And so reach out to everybody on all my links. Reach out to me and to other people in the Hex community, and then you will be able to learn more about airdrops and how that works. Awesome. Thanks everybody for joining today. So I'm so excited to share the rest of the information that we have today in our new show. And so let me run over basically the top ideas. But first, I want to talk about the 2 benefits of Hex over Bitcoin, right? And the first one has to do with trust. And so there's some subcomponents here. So in today's day and age, you can't trust governments, right, to not print more money. And so in crypto, we trust math, right? Another aspect of trust is that you can't really trust yourself if you want to get super rich always, because you might sell early, like people have in Bitcoin, where they sold whenever Bitcoin was 8 cents or 30 cents or $1, right? Because they bought it for a penny and they thought, wow, I 100x my money, or I doubled my money. Now I'm just going to get out of here. So in Hex, what you're doing, if you're doing a time lock to earn trustless interest, then you're having the strongest smart contract in the world, and that makes it better than having the strongest hands in the world, because even the strongest hands in the world, those are human hands. But what we want the strongest smart contract in the world to be working for us. Diamond smart contracts. Hope that's not confusing. We're not contracting for diamonds here, but we're just playing off of what Wall Street Bets, memes, and all these other people do, right? Elon tweeted today, he said something about Dogecoin, like, oh, if like all the centralized people who own too much Dogecoin or Dogecoin, if they sell, then I would endorse it, right? That's him warning people, right? He's warning people not necessarily to buy it. I mean, why would you buy a Joe coin when you could buy a coin like Hex that's a finished product that has the strongest security? And remember that the Hex.com website got updated today. I already checked it out. It's full of amazing information. And so I'm going to do an episode later this week on that. But today, our lead story is that the Bitcoin lead dev says he will step back from the project. Let me share my screen here so we can go over the news on this one. And thanks everybody for joining me. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm going to run the short ad, roll credits. Okay, wow. I almost thought I was missing my link for this one, but no, I got it. Here we go. So Bitcoin core lead maintainer. So that's a different way of saying what I just said, right? What I said was the lead dev, And so in Bitcoin, right, they're always trying to pretend like it's not a problem that they have to update the code. And they're always saying that they don't update the code, but really in the background they are, right? And most of the people in Hex here, we made lots of money off Bitcoin and we're happy with it. We don't mind Bitcoin. Here it says Bitcoin core lead maintainer steps back, encourages decentralization. One thing is clear. This is a serious project now, and we need to start taking decentralization seriously, said Vladimir Van Deerland, right? And then basically what they're saying here is that the Bitcoin core dev, right? The Bitcoin core network is Bitcoin, and then there's like Bitcoin Cash, which is separate, right? Because Bitcoin forked because nobody could agree on simple code that has to be updated. It's super buggy. It's spaghetti code, right? And so this was back, I want to say this was back in December when this happened. And I just wanted to highlight it here because I haven't seen it covered anywhere, because those of us in Hex, we're so busy like creating Hex content. We're busy onboarding new people. I've got a long list of friends who all want to buy into Hex. They want to learn how to do it. We're creating instructions. We're living our lives, right? We're working our jobs. We're enjoying our families and our friends. We're staying safe. We're being healthy. We're getting 8 hours of sleep sometimes even, right? So the people in Hex, we're not always out there covering the latest Bitcoin stories, but here we are just going back over this, right? The Bitcoin core dev, he said the reason he wanted to step back from the project is because he didn't realize how serious it would get. He didn't realize he couldn't take the pressure of people blowing him up on Twitter or, basically just being responsible. This one person was responsible for over 25% of the code updates that were happening in Bitcoin, right? And so his excuse is that he's saying that he doesn't want Bitcoin to be centralized, right? But that's what's happening more and more. And that's what people are realizing is when all these corporations buy in, when there's only 2,000 wallets controlling, 40% of the Bitcoin, then wow, now we have, what happens in crypto is that people start off with good intentions. They don't have immutable code like in Hex, and then they end up recreating the old system onto the new system, the system that they were raging against, right? All of a sudden, back to the same thing. And that's what we're seeing in Bitcoin. I still got a little Bitcoin, right? Like I moved a lot of it into Hex, and wow, now I have like way more Hex than like if I wanted to buy Bitcoin again. If I wanted to buy into some like old code that a bunch of centralized corporations are buying into, like I could buy a lot more Bitcoin now than I had to start with. So I'm pretty happy in Hex, especially because network effects matter. And Hex is having network effects. The Hex community is stronger than any other community at this point in time, right? So somebody's having internet problems. I hope it's not me. Somebody's saying in the comments, everybody's saying hi to each other. You're proving my point. Hex is an awesome community. So I just wanted to kind of throw out the tease kind of to Bitcoin people. Hey, maybe you're going to stumble in here, right? Maybe you're going to put up with my intro and my talking, right? And you're the people that I want to be able to benefit from Hex, right? I don't want people who take one look, at my awesome shirt or my awesome background, and they're like, I'm out of here. I don't want to learn anything today. I don't want to learn about Bitcoin, the core dev quitting. I don't want to learn about the most important insights into Facebook coin that literally you could ever have, because our next story is going to blow you away. I was saving it until we had more people joining. Now we have more people joining. We got a team of people out there. All they're doing is making clips of shows like this. They're supporting the community. I'm out here. I'm happy to share the love. I'm happy to share the spotlight. Like, I just want to get the truth out there. I want you all to be as educated as possible about crypto, because this stuff is exciting. This stuff is history in the making. So without any further ado, let me present my world premiere expose on what's going on with Libra coin and Facebook coin. All right. Get ready. This is going to be crazy. All right. here we go. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff here. Again, if you can't handle the 5 seconds that it takes me to share my screen, then you don't deserve to learn about all this awesome stuff. Okay, the Senate Finance Committee shows the power divide between Silicon Valley and corrupt government banks by threatening the original members of Facebook Coin, then called the Libra Association, by threatening to charge them with crimes if they don't quit the project. Here's my proof. All the links are going to be in the comments here today. This is the most crazy document I've ever seen in my life. So I want to walk you through it. I want to tell you what it means. I'm sure you probably haven't seen this yet. Let's see here. Let me zoom in so you can really see it. He's not going to let me zoom in. Abort, abort. We're having technical issues. No. All right, hold on here. Somebody say something funny in the comments so we don't lose the... After I just get done explaining to everybody, I don't care about losing viewers. It's worth the wait. Trust me. All right, I'm just going to save these as pictures, and then I'll be able to share it so much easier. We got HexMac saying funny things, I hope, in the chat. It's all up to you, HexMac. The chat's depending on you. HexMac and I were up like for hours and hours after Motley stream the other day, like kicking it on behind the scenes. It's good to see you, man. All right, here we go. Stop screen, share screen. I don't know. There's more people tuning in now that I'm like having an anxiety attack on stream. I'm just kidding. I feel fine. All right, here we go. The United States Senate, Washington, D.C. Zip code as follows: 20510, October 8th, 2019. This is sent to the CEO and co-founder of Stripe Inc., Mr. Patrick Collison. Almost looks like Collision. And this is in San Francisco. Dear Mr. Collison, we write to share our deep concerns about Facebook's Libra crypto-currency project and the formation of the Libra Association. This is from the Senate Finance Committee, by the way. We're going to skip down to the bottom just to give you, boom. Brian Schatz, United States Senator. Sherrod Brown, United States Senator. Bought and paid for by the banks and the Fed and everybody else, I'm sure. We're concerned because key questions remain unanswered about the risks the project poses to consumers, regulated financial institutions, and the global financial system. This is how they wrote it. They were like, they were having a mood. They were in their feelings when they wrote this. I guarantee it. We urge you to carefully consider how your companies will manage these risks before proceeding, given that Facebook has not yet demonstrated to Congress, financial regulators, and perhaps not even to your companies that it is taking these risks seriously. If you're Mr. Collison right now, you're shaking in your boots like, no, I don't want to fight you, senators. Public reporting suggests that potential Libra Association member companies have struggled to get sufficient details from Facebook about the management of significant risks that Libra may pose. Even though Facebook is the driving force behind Libra and offers the largest user base for the new cryptocurrency, the company has not provided a clear plan for how. Is this too dramatic? Should it be more dramatic? For how it will prevent Libra from facilitating criminal and terrorist financing, destabilizing the global financial system, interfering with monetary policy, or exposing consumers to risks currently limited to accredited investors. In fact, in response to questions from Congress about the potential risks posed by Libra, Facebook deflects the responsibility of addressing these risks onto potential Libra association members, such as your companies, as well as other politicians in the payments ecosystem. What? All right, we're going to break this down here in a minute, but let's keep getting through this threatening language. It's going to get real here. Facebook is currently struggling to tackle massive issues such as privacy violations, disinformation, election interference, discrimination, and fraud, and it has not demonstrated an ability to bring those failures under control. You, Mr. Collison, should be concerned that any weaknesses in Facebook's risk management systems will become weaknesses in your systems that you may not be able to effectively mitigate. These risks are not hypothetical. Yeah, they are. These risks are not hypothetical. Mark my words. The New York Times recently reported a proliferation of online sexual child abuse cases due in large part to tech platforms like Facebook. In fact, 12 million of the 18.4 million reports of childhood sexual abuse photos and videos around the world last year were attributed to Facebook Messenger. It is chilling to think what could happen if Facebook combines encrypted messaging with embedded anonymous global payments via Libra. Your company should be extremely cautious about moving ahead with the project that will foreseeably fuel the growth in the global criminal activity. Facebook appears to want the benefits of engaging in financial activities without the responsibility of being regulated as a financial services company. Facebook is attempting to accomplish that major objective by shifting the risks and the need to design new compliance regimes on the regulated members of the Libra Association like your companies. If you take this on, you can expect a high level of scrutiny from regulators, not only on Libra-related activity payments, but on all payment activities. Full stop. We urge you to proceed with caution until Facebook is able to provide real answers to you, Congress, and financial regulators about how it will manage the various and significant risks posed by Libra. We also urge you to consider Facebook's inability to manage current risks from its core business lines when making a decision about whether to proceed with Libra. What? All right. If you're reading this the same way I am, and I'm sure you are, what this is saying is it's telling all the members of the Libra Association in 2019, if you don't back out of this, we're going to come after you. We're going to charge you with crimes that you didn't commit. We are going serious, lock you up forever crimes, right? We are going to come after all your money, not just the money that you get from Libra. Shocking. I know, right? All right. So this is the most interesting thing because this is Stripe is not the only company that got this letter. They all got this letter. In 2019, in 2018, when Facebook was plotting to create their own cryptocurrency and kept getting told no by the government, they put together an association of 100 companies, right? Let me bring up the next slide, probably the most important. Other than that, that was the most important piece of evidence. But here you're going to be able to see the effects. Okay, boom. Look, all right, now look at who dropped out and who didn't, all right? Who didn't drop out? Facebook, Coinbase, like Spotify, Lyft, right? These are places that have deep roots in Silicon Valley, which has its own power as a mecca of technology companies, right? But the people who did drop out, they're all fighting the good fight for the government to try to basically enslave people in the US dollar and be able to print as much money as they want. Yeah, I'm talking about the banking and the credit card corporations. I'm talking about Visa, Stripe, eBay, MasterCard, right? PayPal. all of these companies, they are owned by the bankers. And I don't just mean like owned and operated. I mean like, you know, PayPal shuts you out of your account if you like, you know, if you even just try to sell Bitcoin miners. Like they are ruthless, and it's what they're doing, you know, is they're saying that they're stopping terrorism. But really, what does that even mean, right? And, you know, I've been shut out of my PayPal account, you know, for life, right? Because I was selling Bitcoin miners online, like, you know, and that's not a crime, right? But apparently, you know, they don't like it. So they just get to turn people off. And so that's when I first started learning about how the government doesn't fight terrorism anymore as much with soldiers as they do with bankers, right? And so it's super interesting to me that this shows you the power divide in the world between the companies that stood up and they, you know, continued to be a part of the Libra Association, and then there are companies that back down whenever they got letters like this from the Senate Finance Committee telling them that they would be falsely accused and charged, and you know, that the government would basically frame them for things that they didn't do. The government would take away all their money. You know, that's an abuse of power if I've ever seen one before in my life. So this, I mean, it's very rare. You know, a lot of times you'll hear in the news somebody's opinion, or you'll hear like maybe there'll be clues about things, but this is hard evidence. I mean, this is like either you're in or you're out, right? And so even though the Libra Association, like they changed their name, they brought in new people to run it, you know, Facebook is giving it a second try. But this was the one moment in history with these three pictures that I've just shown you. This was the one moment in history where, to me, I could really see, all right, you know, like who's in with who, who's on whose side, right? And if we think of the technology companies as like, you know, basically like huge evil monopolies, right, that are just seeking rent on all of our lives and trying to enslave us just as much as governments do, right? But some of them are not working with the government. Some of them are playing their own game, right? And so those of us in Hex and in Bitcoin to some extent and in cryptocurrency, like, you know, we're seeing a power divide happen, right? We're seeing with the launch of Hex that was given free to Bitcoin holders, and, you know, billions of dollars of Bitcoin economic energy claimed Hex. And now Hex is a multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency. It's still being gatekept. And so all the lies and the sugarcoating that you're getting spoon-fed about Bitcoin, you know, being open source and everything, it has gotten corrupted. It has recreated the same system that existed before of misinformation, of lying to you, of gatekeeping. Hex is an honest project that has had 3 audits. If you go to allmylinks.com/allin, I link to those audits. I link you to the code, right? But Coin Market Crap, they will not fairly list Hex as one of the top 20 cryptocurrencies because they're trying to keep people from investing in something that allows you to stop trading, allows you to just keep your keys to yourself instead of, they want to take your Bitcoin, right? They want you to buy Bitcoin and then they want to hold on to it for you, right? They advertise using trading platforms. Like that's where they get their money. You have to ask yourself, whenever you're listening to somebody on the internet or whenever you're using a service, where are they getting their money? Are you the product? Are they selling your private information, right? That's the difference between Google and Apple. I know we got a lot of Google fans out there. Like, you know, I think they let you do more with your phone, you know, and like there's arguments out there about, you know, well, if Apple gets hacked once, then like, you know, then people can get into all your stuff versus Google has like lots of different subdivisions in their operating system, right? Like that's an argument that you should listen to Dev Kal about, right? But my point here is just about your private information, right? Because maybe you're going to use a Trezor, right, to secure your crypto. Maybe you're going to write down your keys and delete it. Write down your keys and then back them up in enough places where you can delete it off your computer. You know, maybe you're following all the security principles that we're asking of you, because your crypto could be worth a lot of money down the road, more than you can even imagine, right? And so But the one thing I know is that Google, it's an ad company. They make their money off of selling your private information. Apple, they don't make money off of selling. And maybe somebody really smart in the Hex community is going to tell me that they do. But that's my limited understanding. Is Apple, their business, their business plan doesn't involve advertising with Google. That's where they get their money from, is by selling personal information to serve you better ads. Maybe you're okay with that. The bottom line, though, is I want you to seriously ask yourself, Anthony Pompliano, where does he get his money from? He gets his money from BlockFi. BlockFi says, give us your Bitcoin so we can hold on to it and give you a little bit of interest on the side, right? Instead of you holding your Bitcoin. That's the point of Bitcoin, is so that you don't have your money sitting with some centralized party that could run away with it at any time, or the government could come in and take it, right? So there are all these contradictions happening in Bitcoin, but so many people, they're not understanding it because, just because because it's hard. It's like what I'm doing here. Where do I get my funding? Sometimes people tip me. Sometimes like I put on a Hex conference and it's the first one ever, and then somebody gives me a ton of crypto, right? So like, that's my little savings account, right? I'm going to give some of that away to people in Hex. I'm going to keep some for myself. And now when I'm working my day job half-time, now instead of putting some of that money into my long-term savings, I already have savings, right? Because it's already in Hex where it needs to be. So when people give me Hex, then that frees up some of my capital in order to increase the production quality here, in order to, have time to still put food on my table and still make awesome content for you guys, right? To get my little computer upgrade that I did, right? That's from airdrops, from crypto just giving me free money. So these quote unquote influencers who are telling you only about Bitcoin, they're in bed with exchanges, and the exchanges are, feeding them their lines to tell you like, oh, maybe you should trade, or maybe you should let somebody else hold on to your crypto, right? These are all terrible things. Stop giving your crypto to other people. That's human nature, is obviously to recreate the things that never worked or that extract the most wealth and leave us unfree. And so here's an opportunity for us to really reflect. And so that's why I'm hoping I'm going to not be corrupted as long as I can, as long as Hex does well, like I'm going to have enough of it. So I don't think you have to worry about somebody buying me off or something like that. But I guess we'll have to see, next time you see me shilling a Bybit link, then you can, then you can send Biff and S after me or something, he'll take care of me as the middleman he never wanted me to be, So Dolomite, yo, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it, man. I wasn't even meaning to like ask for donations just then, but like, that's what I'm saying, is people in Hex are generous. The reason they're generous is because they're making so much money off Hex. And it's because they're good people, right? Because good people recognize other good people. I hope that that's the case. We're going to keep moving on because I got a lot of predictions about how Facebook coin is going to roll out incredibly soon. Are you kidding me? It's back to a penny. I literally gave my word the other day that I was not going to allow people to be buying Bitcoin. It's like buying Bitcoin under a penny, buying Hex under a penny. Whenever I'm streaming, you guys, you got to wait to buy so I can buy it too, or whatever. It's fine. I'll let it go this time. There's a lot of Richard posted today about a lot of low liquidity. That's when Bitcoin and Ethereum had the greatest returns, was whenever they had the lowest liquidity. Guess what? Hex has low liquidity right now. We're getting ready for a takeoff. Oh, what does my shirt say? When Saturn? I'll tell you when Saturn, a lot sooner than you thought. Thanks though, Marcavelli. There's more people tuning in. I'm sure they're gonna, keep the sound running in the background. They're gonna buy it up. If they don't, that's their loss, my gain. I got another 20 minutes here to do. Then Hexologist will be taking over for me. And thank you so much, Crypto303. You're the man. Thanks for the super sticker. You guys rock. It just, you guys can tell it makes me happy when I feel the love. So I just retweeted that tweet that was back from October 2019 that I dug up for you guys. So let me bring up our next article here. I'm not going to spend too much time on the articles, you guys, because I want to give you my analysis mostly. I mean, you can go out there and you can find the articles. Oh, by the way, I was playing with the title a little bit because we want to pull in new people. Bitcoin, if you Google Bitcoin lead dev quits, boom, in the top 3 results. I can't believe it. I guess people just really don't like to tell the news exactly how it is, right? Here we go. So, remember a long time ago, it was called Libra Association. Libra claims, so many ads. Pay no attention to that ad. Libra claims 180 potential replacements for 7 mutineers. Okay, this is an article that backs up what I was talking about with this image that I presented that I think is so extremely fascinating. This article does not tell you about that message from the Senate Finance Committee. It does not tell you what's really going on, as far as I know. But it's just backing up one of the claims that I made. So I want to be able to give you guys evidence of what I'm saying. Okay, what's going on now? Facebook, they've renamed it to Diem. We're going to talk about that name and what it means. This is their white paper. I just want to show you that it's out there. Their white paper is out there. I also want to show you, boom, corn. We're just going to call it corn market crap. Oh. Facebook Diem coin is already listed as on here on this website that we dare not speak of lest we mispronounce it or worse. So all right, that's weird that they've already got it up there. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Libra plans dollar-pegged stablecoin launching in January 2021. What do I have in my notes about this? Okay, so we already said the banks and credit card companies left, whereas independent and powerful tech companies didn't back down. This was a rare moment to see the true divide in the powers that actually run the world. Facebook coin V1 failed and rebranded to Facebook coin V2, Diem, formerly Libra. This is the quiet before the storm. Diem coin is slated to launch in the next 6 weeks if they're going to do it in Q1, and will have more users than the US dollar. 2.2 billion users, y'all. 2.2 billion. I can't believe that number. That's how many it's supposed monthly active users that Facebook has. I believe that's just Facebook, not even counting all their other companies that they acquired. We showed you the white paper. Now we show you the site. Here's the site. No, this isn't. This is the analysis. Maybe I didn't put the site in there. Oh yeah, here, because it didn't show up as a link in my notes. So this is, what is Diem? This is a detailed analysis. I'm going to link everything here in the notes after the show. Here's Diem. Welcome to the Diem project. Wow. I can't believe it. All right. We're running out of time to hear my analysis. Okay. So there it is. You guys can see, they've definitely put their stuff out there. They're getting ready to do a launch, right? What does this mean for you? What does this mean for crypto? Okay. My prediction, you heard it here first, is that Diem coin is going to do an airdrop. They're going to tell you that you need to set up a wallet and that you need to claim your $10 in order to, otherwise it's going to be a limited time offer, right? That would be smart because they've already got the network. Now they're going to need the participation. What this is going to do. Now, I don't know if Facebook is already buying into Bitcoin, but what they're going to do, whether they like it or not, is they're going to get everybody used to the idea of just like setting up a new account, and it's going to bring a lot of people into crypto. It's not going to bring a lot of people directly into crypto, right? Because there's going to be walls put up, right? Every country that Facebook is working with right now, they are worried about capital flowing out of their country and they lose control, right? Because capital is always going to flow to the place where the hardest monetary policy and the most trusted monetary policy is existing, right? With Bitcoin, Bitcoin has had to build its reputation up over 12 years for people to trust even the math that they could have seen in the first place. But the people who've known about Bitcoin the longest realize that, oh, the code can be updated. Wow. Okay. So now we have to trust humans again. Oh, oops. We created the same system that we've always had. Wait a second. Oh, what is Hex? Oh, Hex is a cryptocurrency that's literally locked in a block in 2019 of Ethereum. So literally, how are you going to change it? Oh, you're going to remine the entire 7-year, 8-9 years worth of Ethereum? I don't think so. That's called proof of work security, y'all. Like, you're not going to be able to just recreate the code. And then why would we even trust that if you made your own chain, right? So with Hex has better security than Bitcoin. You can go to the new website, hex.com, and learn more about that. And you better believe that, like, Mark Zuckerberg, he was looking at the results of the election, and that's why he said he would launch Diem coin in Q1 of 2021, is because he had to regroup after the whole Libra association backfired on him, right? And then he had to wait to see who would win the election so he could decide who to pay off. And right now what's happening is the new administration, they are still appointing people to run everything. So Facebook literally has to wait to make sure that they paid everybody off that's going to get in there, right? So that's part of why it hasn't already launched in January. I believe that the Diem network would have launched in January if it wasn't for a change in the election. You know, like if the sitting president at the time had continued to be, had gotten reelected, then, Diem would have already launched. So Diem's going to be a stable coin, right? And it looks like the government's going to let go through this time. Wow. That should concern you, but also it should get you excited about crypto because that's where all the money is going to find its way to in the end anyway, right? Facebook is going to break the psychological barrier that people have to creating new networks that are connected to their banks, but are living totally digital. Facebook is going to pretend like it's using a cryptocurrency, but a cryptocurrency is something where you have privacy, right? That's why it's cryptic, because it uses cryptography. A cryptocurrency, if it's a valuable one, it's probably trying to be decentralized. Decentralization was not the first part of Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't start decentralized. Bitcoin had to try to achieve that, right? And so when Bitcoin was launched, like, it wasn't decentralized, but it was the first ever digital thing that couldn't be copied. That was out there in the world, right? It was wild. It was living wild in the world. And Satoshi mined the first 1,000,000 coins, and who knows what he did with them, right? Maybe he threw away the key. Maybe he spilled some coffee on the seed words or something, right? Maybe he's Paul LaRue and he's sitting in federal prison right now, undergoing so much torture, or maybe he's just like living large and laughing easy. Either way, he's not running his criminal network anymore. And but the bottom line is that Bitcoin, it's still in the wild trying to find and see if it can be decentralized. And guess what? It was doing pretty well until Michael Saylor bought in and until Elon Musk bought in. And all these billionaires were like, oh, wait a second. Okay, now we can trust something more than the government that obviously is printing more dollars and not giving us anything to invest in that's going to give us a real return on our value. Bitcoin all it's doing is polluting the environment, but it is digitally scarce, right? The point of Hex is to not only be better than Bitcoin, but to be better than the best, right? And it's already achieving that, because guess what? No coin could, even Bitcoin could ever figure out how to distribute its coins fairly or like fairer than just the corruption that is built into the system with game theory. Game theory says miners are going to be so greedy that they wouldn't, shoot themselves in the foot, right? Well, what about the people who get coins first? What about the people who come in with the big bucks and they buy? Well, guess what? Hex, you can't come in with $1 billion and buy. You'd push the price against yourself so much you wouldn't end up with more than 80 million token, 80 million. That's it. That's all the liquidity is. Literally, Hex has been engineered to be decentralized. And right now, is it decentralized? Well, it's pretty decentralized, but it's going to continue to be more decentralized. All these other chains, they're working on how much energy they can burn so, they can be more secure. Hex already has security because it's already locked in a code that's not going to change. So now that that's solved, right? Now that digital scarcity is solved since Bitcoin got invented, what's left? Real decentralization. A billionaire can't come in and buy Hex and own more of it than anybody else, right? But if you're a long-term holder, you can. All you have to do is stake longer than average, and you're going to get 40% APY paid by the origin address, which is literally just a mechanism to distribute the coins more instead of offering them all up front at the beginning so that people could buy them at a low price and then get super rich and then just sell them because why not? Right? That's human nature. If you own all the coins, you're going to sell a good amount of them. And that's how it played out with 10,000 cryptocurrency experiments before this one, including Bitcoin. The OA is literally continuing to distribute Genesis coins in a way that rewards people for holding longer. Those people are going to slowly over 15 years, maybe sell a little bit of their interest, but keep holding, continuing to appreciate and understand what they have is the greatest financial innovation in the history of mankind. You thought it was cool when Bitcoin went up 4.9 million X? Yeah, that's 490 million %. You better get ready to see what something that is better can do, all right? And this low liquidity stuff right now where the price is bouncing around between 0.7 cents and a penny 0.2, that's not real. That's literally just low liquidity. That's noise in the system, faking people out, shaking out weak hands. And then boom, if you wanted to make a big move, you're going to have to push the price up. There's no other way. And who else? Even if you push the price against yourself, what do you think is going to happen? More people are going to pile in after you. People are going to hold stronger because they are the strongest hands and because people hold more when the price goes up. Even though you shouldn't necessarily do that. So that's what's going to happen because if you really understand Hex, why are you going to say no to pushing the price against yourself and then getting 40% to 60% APY from the Genesis coins, appreciating that what is Bitcoin going to do for you? I went back and I've studied the numbers. There's still right now, and rarely do I think that there will ever be a time when it was better to do anything else other than buy Hex. If I had held on to my Uniswap tokens instead of, which are now, they went up 3x, 4x, went from 3,000, or I don't know, maybe went from 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 up to 10,000. Look at the accounts where my friends created, where, I spent a little bit of money on Hex cameos. But if you look at the accounts of people who just bought Hex and staked it long, they're already doing better. They already have $12,000 worth of Hex. When I go back and look at Bitcoin, if I sold Bitcoin, now Bitcoin is up so much, I feel like I'm missing out. Go back and study the numbers. It's still doing better. Even if you buy tops in Hex, you're still doing better a lot of the times if you just wait. if you just have a little bit of patience, right? And so that's really, it feels good to go back and know that you made the right decision up until now. You know that the future isn't certain, but you know that the code is certain. You know that the principles of mathematics, they're going to continue to operate. And that fourth dimension that you're figuring out faster than anybody else, how to send your future self money through time. That's energy. That's an energy transfer that Einstein, he'd be drooling, you know, he'd be trying to make the moves on this, you know, he'd get all excited, right? He would start writing a bunch of poetry about like, you know, love is like sitting on a hot park bench and then you burn yourself, right? He'd be talking about, because whether he was the one to say it or not, you know, it's like, what? Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Well, Hex is version 8 to the power of 8, right? So get in there and do that. What else do we have to say? Oh, predictions. All right, so Facebook, Diem coin. I think I pretty much said everything. I mean, like, yeah, it's going to have 2.2 billion users. People are going to be incentivized to use it. Oh, yeah, the name is genius. The name is genius because psychologically speaking, people will say, DM me. And then you will have to ask, what do you mean? Do you mean direct message or do you mean pay me with the new Facebook coin? So literally, the word of mouth is going to spread like nothing ever has in the world. Bitcoin is a bad name. Hex is like a genius name, right? And like, so is Diem. Diem is a genius name because you will have to ask, do you mean DM direct message me or send me new Facebook currency, right? And so it's going to spread like wildfire. Young people, they're not into Facebook. Well, guess what? They're into getting money from their parents. Their parents are on Facebook. People, it's going to create such a buzz. You know, it's going to have such strong network effects starting off. Businesses are going to accept it overnight. They're going to put up little QR codes so they can accept it. It's going to be already built into every payment system that there is, right? And it will literally overnight replace everything when it comes to stable coins, all right? But it's not even a real stable coin, right? We've talked about how it's not decentralized, right? It's not cryptographic. It's going to require a bunch of KYC. You're going to pay $10. They're going to pay you $10 so you can give up all your privacy for the rest of your life and forever after that. So like, get ready for it. By the way, you know, I have a little addiction that I'm trying to get over with like buying domain names. You know, I'm in a support group with David Feeder. He doesn't really buy too many domain names, but he makes me feel better. I don't know. I'm kind of kidding, but when I went and I looked and I saw like, oh, look at, Diem literally had everything I could ever think of. They already took. So like, and that was months ago. That was when they announced it. So like, you could tell that they're preparing this behind the scenes to be something really big. And so I think like what could happen when Facebook Diem coin comes out is a bunch of people could misunderstand it and the news could psych you out. And then you could sell some of your crypto just because you're scared. And like the crypto market is waiting for some excuse, right, to drop. So I would not be surprised. This is a prediction that Facebook will announce Diem coin. Like Mark Zuckerberg's like sweating all over himself and he's like itching, you know, and he's got his finger on the button waiting. He's waiting for a sell-off in Bitcoin just so he could press the button to announce Diem coin, just so the narrative will be because Diem coin was released, that caused the price of Bitcoin to go down. All right. But that's misinformation. That's a lie. They're waiting until they know somebody's going to sell and then they will release the information. So if you want to carpe diem and seize the day, you better carpe some Hex and not carpe some Diem. I'm pretty sure I've just laid it out as clear as it could be. I hope you rewatch it on 4X and then you can get through this in about 15 minutes, except for the parts where I get really excited and talk faster, and then you could play it probably on 2x, and then it won't sound like a bunch of gibberish. But hopefully you've enjoyed this show. Hopefully you're going to tell all your Wall Street Bets friends that, that they're going to be out of luck. And for some reason I got a low internet signal. I've never seen that pop up before. They found out that I was talking bad about something. So looks like I'm being canceled now. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully not. Hopefully this was helpful, y'all. Hopefully you're going to tell your family and friends, get them into Hex before more hedge funds come in and try to snatch up the little bit that they can. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. So without any further ado, let me make sure that Hexologist is ready for us. And we're going to switch over to him. If you want to be part of the raid, which is cool, it's cool to raid in on somebody. I'm going to set that up a little bit faster than yesterday. And so we'll be able to get right over to him. Let me see here. It's going to be twitch.tv/the Hexologist. I'll put the link here. Yes, he is live. Yes, he's playing music, which means he's not started yet. We have perfect timing, as usual. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I love you guys. Twitch is literally telling me I can't raid because I'm not a follower of my own channel. Like, what? I've got to be following myself. Like, I'm unable to follow this user. Oh no, what's happening? I thought this one was going to be so smooth. Oh, fail. Canceled. How do I get to my own channel? Help! Twitch, help! I swear I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit Twitch, not quit making videos. Like, are you kidding me? This is literally hilarious to me. Okay, I got my panel here. It's saying what? It's saying that there's no hope in big letters. I did it yesterday. All right, thanks everybody for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the bloopers at the end. Stake wisely, my friends.